Morning, evening.
Evening.
Yeah.
Right, for you, right.
hmm
Yeah,
Sorry.
Prima, I couldn't access your email. I don't know if I wrote it down wrong.
Oh, PREMAQUADIR at
That
gmail.com.
I had QUADIR. That's what
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. Okay.
You learned your
All
English very well. U after Q.
right. Right. Good morning,
Wow.
everyone. How's everybody feeling?
Really good. Really, really
Really
good.
good. Really good.
Mhm.
Same here. I feel like I've got over the hump.
Me too.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah. And as long as we keep doing what we're doing and keeping our minds free and our thoughts clear and our emotions in check and being easy, restful, even in our movements, even in our everything we do, if we just flow with the wind and don't everything is da 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 da. And I'm finding myself in slow motion and loving it. I'm just watching everybody run by, they running for the bus, the train, and I'm waiting for the next one. I'm just easy. And I think as long as you keep that Amina's on, hey Amina, and as long as you keep that mindset of
Good
everything should
morning.
just slow down, I think you'll stay in a good place, and this will be relatively easy for all of us.
I agree with that. Morning, everybody. I had some technical difficulties here in PR. I'm still hearing a lot of feedback. I don't know if everyone is muted, but um, I do feel exactly the same way Van said over the hump. Like I feel really great now. And I hope that this is the continuation of the fast. I know at times there'll be moments when it'll go up and down, but I don't feel hungry. I woke up very energized. I woke up early, like 6 a.m. Um, and I don't have nowhere to go, so um, yeah, I feel good. Let's hear from everybody else. I'll mute myself.
So I was gonna say I went to the beach pretty much all afternoon today, and I was just like blessing the water around me, and it was amazing. I didn't want to get out of the water, and we where I live, it's kind of like a real cafe town, so there's a lot of restaurants and cafes around, and so I'm walking down to the beach and getting the bus down. It's not far from this house anyway, and I could smell like food and stuff. And funny enough, I didn't really crave that I wanted to eat anything. It was just more like the scent was enough. It was amazing. It was like incredible. Anyway,
Well, I did pretty good. I wanted to go to bed about an hour after we got off the line, but then my mother called and I felt like I needed to give her time. She called like at 12 midnight, and so I didn't get to bed till like 1:30, and I felt like I could get a little more sleep, so probably after we're done, I'm going to go back to bed.
Amina, go for it. Good morning.
Good morning. So yesterday was okay for me. I had actually did like I think the downtime for me is when I had did a walk away to pounds video, and then afterwards I was just like, oh no, I need some water and I need to go lay down. So that was kind of like okay, maybe that was a little bit. I mean, I didn't do it like really hard, but I don't know if it was just the exertion from it, but I just couldn't do it. But other than that, everything is good.
How many miles was that? How
It was
many
only
miles
two
did
miles.
you walk?
It was 2 miles. It was like a 2 mile. in-house walking type thing. So I can definitely feel it because I can usually do the whole 3 miles.
Well, I don't think that.
I can't hear.
Right.
Can you say
So
that
I don't know.
again? I can.
Yeah, I was saying that's not too bad. Depends on how much exertion you gave. If you
Right.
were like
Right.
power walking, that may not be the best idea. But if you were just kind of, strolling along, then that may not be the worst thing. Good thing is that
Mhm.
you got rest and you recharged your battery. That's pretty
Yes.
much what you
Yeah.
got to do anyway when you're fasting.
Mhm.
Everything's you came in when I was saying what I found myself doing is that I just kind of just flow with everything like the wind. I live in New York. I don't know where you live, Amina, but I live in New York, and everything here is quick. You know, everything.
Mhm.
And I find myself moving in slow motion, and it's okay. Like if people are running for the bus and the train, I just move out their
Mhm.
way and let them run for it. And I'm so happy with that feeling that everything's okay, and I'm sure while everybody's moving like this, So even your walks, if you're obligated to do those, I would probably walk, but I wouldn't add any exertion.
Okay. Okay.
So what we gonna talk about today, guys?
Let's talk about food. I had some great food conversations yesterday, and so just so you know, like I have this little house here that we host like guests, Airbnb. We host retreaters who are doing wellness excursions, and I also have volunteers. They don't stay in the house; they stay on the farm, but I have to prepare meals for them every day. So I am always amongst and around food all the time. And so that's why I always say this is more challenging for me because I have a house full of food and my husband is a snacker and he likes chips and pretzels and bread and all kinds of yummy, delicious things that I have to shut down my whole everything. So I think this is part of the discipline of the challenge because um, you know if you're in a fasting situation where you don't have to prepare food for your family, then you have a lucky break. I still have to make food for my son who's 6 years old. I still make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the volunteers. We have some girls traveling through Puerto Rico. They're staying with us from Sweden. They cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner too. So I guess the lesson for me is looking and embracing and smelling the good sense of good food cooking around you and actually being fed by the aroma. That's kind of like my little scientific like thing. Like even like in the community, every now and then you smell someone cooking up a big pot of something good. Not all the time it smells good. Sometimes it smells like death, but sometimes it smells really good. And I'm like, I wish I could knock on some doors right now. But what I've been doing, this guy taught me this back in Baltimore when I was living there. And he was fasting for a period of time, and I had a restaurant there, and he would come every day for lunch to look at the food and to smell it, just to come in and just smell the aroma. And he was like, oh, that was so delicious. And I thought he was crazy because to me, I was like, if I'm fasting, I got to be out of the way. I don't want to see it. I don't want it to be in my vision. I don't want to smell it. I want to be in an area with a fan blowing on me so that I don't smell it. But I get what he's saying because for me, I don't have a choice. And so I'm eating the food through my aroma. That's how I look at it. So I've been eating all kinds of delicious pasta, and we have the one girl who's staying here works at one of those salad bars, and literally yesterday our conversation was so funny. We were talking about making all these salads and the different dressings and everything, and I was like, this is so cool just to think about. You know, do you remember this TV show with LeVar Burton called Reading Rainbow? And he did, you know, the song that came on was like, butterflies in the sky, I can go twice as high, take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I sing that to my kids. So the thing about it is I realized that our mind is everything. Everything is our mind. So literally, I had pizza yesterday. Let me tell you what I ate. I ate it through aromas and through thoughts. So if you realize that your mind is so powerful, and honestly, I think that reflection has helped me today. Like, I am more gangsta with this whole water fast today than I am yesterday and the days before. And you know, like, a few people around here know I'm doing it, so they're like, how are you doing? Are you alive? And I'm like, I'm great. What are you talking about? Like, I am flying, you know? And I think once you realize that the mind is so powerful and how we can just, like, create, like, our own reality in our mind. Man, I ate so good yesterday. It's just, you know, delicious. Just thinking about, you know, and I don't feel like I'm going off my fast because I think, Van, can you mute yourself if you don't mind?
Yeah.
What I think is people feel like fasting is so, oh my God, I couldn't do it. I can't go without a meal. You know, I'm going to die, you know. And I don't even feel that way right now. I feel like I have abundance in my life. I feel like I am full. I have everything. I've mentally eaten and nurtured myself, and it just feels good because it's like it's a filling feeling. You know, I think when we fast, I think the scary thing that people think about, whether they're fasting or not, is, oh my God, I can't eat. You know, eating is a very big part of my life. I love eating, and I love food, and, you know, why would I withgo eating? I eat every single day of my life to do a fast. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm reflecting on all the wonderful foods that I'm going to be eating today through my mind. You know, I'm preparing food. In fact, later on today, I'm going to the store with a friend of mine. She's actually a chef too, and we're going to be recording Puerto Rican vegan recipes for folks. And so we're going to be cooking today. We're going to actually be in the pot, and we're going to be cooking. We're going to be teaching people how to cook vegan. I'm going to record it. And that is also a part of my healing because I know how to do this with my eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think I'm sharing this with you because I think this is probably helpful for folks who are like,
Okay. Like we lost Sky, and she'll be back. She'll be back shortly. She was obviously talking about something very interesting, and I can't wait to hear what it is that she was going to finish saying. It sounded very good. And I can't wait to get a hold of some of those vegan dishes either from PR. Can't wait. Okay, here she is.
sorry about that. My thing just cut off. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that was great, Sky, and I can't wait myself to try some of those vegan dishes from PR myself. I can only imagine. I'm a huge lover of Puerto Rican food, and I can't wait to see. I've never even thought of that from that end of it. When I think about raw vegan or whatever, of course I think of the conventional stuff here. I don't know why I never thought of from other cultures. It's something that escapes me, but I'm very looking forward to trying that those sort of dishes from Puerto Rico and from Latin America and the like. Big fan of that food. Big fan of that culinary. Big fan. So yeah, I wanna talk a little bit about enemas and digesting our food thereof, and how do we get how do we move our bowels? Let me stop trying to be so politically correct. How do we take a dunk during a fast? There are some people that mention that it's okay to take laxatives every other day to expel waste in your body when you're fasting. I totally disagree with that. Like I said, I'm not a board certified anything, but I gotta think that if you're taking a laxative, then you're digesting it, obviously, and where it's going to help you to move your bowels. At the end of the day, I digested that, and it wasn't water. And the laxative use, in my opinion, that would be too much anyway. But that's another story, and we'll talk about that later. So we don't have a lot of time, but I wouldn't recommend you take laxatives that much anyway, but especially during a fast, you shouldn't be digesting anything but air and water, as we repeatedly said. I would recommend, and what's always been the time-proven way of doing this is enemas and colonics. I would recommend. I mean, everybody's different. Some people feel like they need an enema every day. I don't. I'll do one like every 3 days, and because I move my bowels on day 2, today I'm gonna do an enema. So there are different types of enemas. Take your pick. If you go to the store and you buy a store-bought enema, I would recommend you unscrew the cap and dump that out. Clean the bottle with a little hydroxide, get all that out. And I would recommend that you put your own solution in the bottle. You can do lemon juice, from what I understand. I've never tried this, but Mickey Howard, who's not on the call right now, she seemed to have great success with lemon juice. You'll take, like, I don't know how many lemons, and I was hoping she was on the call so I could ask her exactly how she does that. But she may be on the PM call, and if not, I'll hit her up in the chat box, and then I'll come back with that tonight. She was saying how you take lots of lemons, you squeeze the juice, obviously, and you use it for the enema. Now, I don't know if you dilute it with water or not. I would assume you would, but she didn't mention that. Then there's aluminum-free baking soda that apparently is a great enema to use. The one I usually use is I'll get wheatgrass juice from the juice bar, and I'll get like 2 or 3 ounces of that, 2 or 3 shots, and then I'll put it in the bottle and dilute it with some water, and I'll use that type of enema. And there are lots of others. There are coffee enemas. Take your pick. But that's the way that I believe, from what I was taught and from what I learned, that you move your bowels during a fast in that fashion, and not taking laxatives or herbal teas or anything. There's this concept that it's okay to take herbal teas during a fast. That's not true. It's just not true. It doesn't matter what. That's not fasting. That's dieting. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it on a large scale. You're still helping your body. But if you're going to call it a fast, then that just means air and water. That's all it means. Not that it's wrong or right. It's just that if you're saying you can't have a juice fast, that's impossible. That's a detox. That's not a fast. So, just wanted to cover that. I'm going to mute myself.
I wanted to jump back in. Another good enema that I recommend if folks are into enemas or going to do it is a coffee enema. It is done a lot by the Gerson healing folks who use the Gerson method. They do a lot of coffee enemas, and it's just like he said. I'm gonna think that the lemon juice enema is also diluted pretty heavily, but the coffee enemas is coffee, black coffee diluted in a enema bag. And I don't think you should. I mean, maybe that little bottle that you buy is okay, but I think you should try getting one of those big red bags that mamas used to hang up in the bathroom if you're going to do an enema, because it has a nice long tube, and because that other one is like a hand thing, and you got to kind of be behind your butt kind of squeezing water, and that's too much. So if you're going to do an enema, get an enema bag that you hanger, and you put literally you don't need to put solutions. Water is sufficient. And when I do it, or when I have done it, I put hot water, like not boiling, but as hot as I can get it. And I pour it in, then you put this little like stopper in where the hose is connected, hang it up like on your the rack for the where you take a shower rack. And that way it hangs all the way down, and that's gravity, so the water will run. And then it has like a little pincher clip, and then you get some Vaseline and make it happen. And then sometimes people actually lay in their tub and let the water almost empty. I mean, you could literally let it empty if you're, I guess the word is brave enough. Let the enema bottle empty into your colon, and laying on your right side, which is the side that, see, your colon comes, let's see if I can draw it. It comes like around and then down and out. So your right side is that down side. So you want to lay on your right side and let as much water can come up there and flow as much into your colon as you can. And then clench your butt as tight as you can, and then massage all your colon down in the lower abdomen, and jump up and like hold it for as long as you can while you're massaging it, and then jump up and then expel it on the toilet. So I just want to give you the graphic the graphic version. But some people use coffee. I hear it's really good for detox. But I think water is also fine too. So
I've heard about the bags that you're talking about, Sky. Like this guy was doing it online. He was actually a massage therapist as well. I followed him for a while. But for me, I think in the last fast as well, I did some colonics, and I just find that's because I just feel like with the enema sort of thing, I found like I don't know, even though it seems quite simple, really what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to go get some colonics by someone again. Yeah.
As long as you're doing something, thank you, Sky, for for clarifying that, because like I said, it all depends on who you listen to, and I was told something totally different. I recently learned about massaging the colon. The first fast we did, I didn't even do that. But I was comfortable with the store-bought enemas. They seem to work pretty well. But I think I'm going to go and purchase a hot water bottle today. I'm going to try exactly what you said, and and see how if the results are. I guess the results would probably be even better because I guess you can get farther inside to clear up, the clutter in there. So, yeah, it sounds like the way to go.
I did a 10-day colonic regimen when I lived in Hawaii, and they used the wheatgrass at the very end. So I have experienced that where you do do it just with water, and at the very end when you're clean, then they do the wheatgrass.
Thank you. I'll try that too. I think I'll start with water, and maybe next 10 days or so I'll do coffee, and maybe lemon, and then maybe wheatgrass. I'll mix it up. Yeah. Why do I have to stick with just wheatgrass? I could probably try other things. So I'll give it a shot. Thank you.
But we must do something. Is that what you're saying? That we, enema, colonic, whatever it is, we should do?
No, you don't have to do any colonic or enema at all. It's up to you. I'm not doing one.
You're not doing anything at all?
No. Mm-mm. According to Herbert Shelton, I did post his one of his online books. Well, he never was online. He's old school. But something that was published online, and there's a lot of information. Herbert Shelton was one of those master fasters who helped fast people. Like they say he fasted like 30,000 people for various ailments. And he actually writes in some of his information, I'll see if I can actually find the exact area where that information comes from. He mentions that there are people who want to do enemas in their fasting, but he didn't do enemas in fasting at all. And I'm going to find the information as to exactly why that was, but since he's been like one of the premier people in the world who does fasting, I kind of use his information more so than, other people. I think that, like just the same thing with the whole colonic thing. Like I think colonics are really good, and I think they're really beneficial for when you're fasting. I know people who take colonics and then the next day they're eating junk again. So I think at this period of time, it's really, if you're going to do a colonic or an enema, I think fasting is the best time to do it. But I'm not doing one. I'm good. I don't feel that you have to, but it's a personal thing. I don't think it's a right or wrong.
So, Sky, have you evacuated your last meal already?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I guess it all depends on, your who you listen to, and your spirit will tell you what's right for you. I don't think it's right or wrong. Sky provided some information from a cat named Herbert Shelton. I'm going to look him up. Yeah, that's I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I guess you don't have to I guess you don't have to expel you don't have to use an enema. I was taught you do, but I'm sure, like I said, there's always going to be the coin has the head and the tail. Neither one is wrong. They're both right.
Have you evacuated your last meal there?
When you say evacuated, my last meal, yeah, that was on the second day.
Oh.
Yeah, the second day that was my last bowel movement, and today I'm gonna do a wheatgrass enema or water. Well, I'll probably do the water. But yeah, I'm good. I am good. But yeah, it's as we were saying, you You just like, there's the reason why you're not using the bathroom is because there's really nothing in there. There's no food items, there's there's nothing in there basically other than water. And the reason why I like to do enemas is because I'm sort of a germaphobe in a way, and in my mind, if there are parasites in there, they got their last meal too. You know what I mean? And I don't want any of that in there. So, but I'm not saying it's right or wrong to do it, but it's personal. Like Sky said, it's a personal decision. I gotta imagine that the Herbert Shelton thing is probably right too. You know, I wouldn't do that, but I'm not at that level to think that way. But I'm interested to hear from you, and to see where that goes. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Claire,
I'm,
did you evacuate your last meal?
Oh, most definitely. It's just
Well,
like the beach and water, and I just feel almost 100%. So, yeah.
All right, I want to let me see if I'm on. Is my mic on? Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I found it in his book called Fasting and Sunbathing, and this is a little quote about the bowels. After the digestion of the last meal prior to the fast, the bowels practically cease to function. They take a rest. Dr. Oswald says the colon contracts and the smaller intestines retain all but the most irritating ingestia. Sometimes they will continue to move regularly for the first 3 or 4 days of the fast. In rare cases, a diarrhea will develop even after 15 or more days of fasting. Mark Twain describes cases of starving, shipwrecked men whose bowels had not moved for 20 and 30 days. For this reasons, most advocates of fasting insist upon the daily use of the enema. I think that the enema is a distinct evil and should not be employed. Kellogg quotes von Norden as saying, in fasting, the stools were highly putrid and similar in appearance to the feces passed when the diet is mainly composed of meat. Kellogg and von Norden should both conduct a few hundred fasts and then write about the matter. This mistake is based on the notion that the fasting patient is on a meat diet and should have the stools of a meat eater. It is an assumption, not a fact. They have merely read into the matter false facts which conform to their mistaken theories, even though they are at variance with the real facts. The stomach, intestines, and colon are given a complete rest by the fast and are enabled to repair damaged structures. Piles, proctitis, colitis, appendicitis, enteritis, enteric fever, typhoid, gastritis, etc., speedily recover under the fast. The alimentary tract becomes practically free of bacteria during a fast. The small intestines become sterile. But a week of fasting is required to result in a complete disappearance of all germs from the stomach. The quickest means of remedying bacterial decomposition in the digestive tract is fasting. Dr. Tilden says the fact that the hibernating bear loses its colon bacilli is not acted upon, and a fast recommended when disease results from overeating, bacterial decomposition, and toxic poisoning. Bowel action is necessarily more or less absent during a fast. There may be 2 or 3 actions during the course of a comparatively short fast, or no action at all during a most prolonged fast. The use of the enema during the fast, so much advocated in many quarters, is both unnecessary and pernicious. How unnecessary it is will be shown by the following cases. Okay, I guess I'll read it. Dr. Dewey tells of placing a dyspeptic, feeble body and very low mental state who had been under the care of physicians for 10 years on 1 meal a day. He says in the Fasting Cure, page 196, the constipated bowels were permitted their own time for action. Further on, he adds, my patient's bowels give no hint of their locality until the 18th day, when they acted with little effort. On the 24th day again, in a perfect way, and daily thereafter. It has been said that Dr. Dewey's fasting cases would have recovered more promptly had he employed the enema. But I find no satisfactory evidence that his cases as a whole were any longer recovering than the cases of those who employ the enema. When they do appear to be longer in recovering, I think this may be accounted for more satisfactorily by the fact that in many of his cases he employed certain drugs, especially drugs to deaden sensation, relieve pain, and by the further fact that his limited knowledge of diet and his prejudices against fruit, which he had brought over with him from his medical training, did not give his patients the best aftercare. Many of the fasts conducted by Dewey were under 15 days. His records do not indicate that his fast lasted longer or that his results were less satisfactory. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I posted it, no, I'll post this actual area directly into the group so you can guys read it yourself. But, so this is basically who I'm like, I've read a lot of his stuff on fasting, and his stuff is, I think he's back in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s. I mean, he's like old school. So I'm going with his philosophy mostly. But like I said, if you want an enema, it's all good. It's not a bad thing. I'm just, following Herbert Shelton's because he's fasted the most people and journaled it mostly, that more than anyone else. So, that's just how I feel. But I'll post it so you can read it because he lists some other reasons why he doesn't think an enema is necessary.
So I found the link for Shelton. Were you reading from the bowel action during fasting, that chapter?
No, we lost Sky. She'll be back right away. Yeah, like I'm saying, I think it's just a personal choice. I didn't have any adverse problems with enemas during the last fast. It actually made me feel better. But like she said, this guy's that she's following, he's from the old school. So a lot of the old school cats knew the real deal about about all these things that we're talking about. The new conventional way is not always the best way. Sometimes you got to go back, to the old teachers and masters. Like they seem to have, a lot of the right information. But like I said, it's a personal choice. I'm interested in reading what he's saying too, so that I can see if I'm feeling the way he said you'll feel. But so far, I have not. But whatever rolls your boat. What was you saying, Prema?
I was asking Sky, I found the link for the full text of the book, and I was wondering, were you reading from the chapter Bowel Action During Fasting?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 13, I think it's called, but I'm going to post it in the wellness group too.
I was going to say, guys, is anyone experiencing any slight reflux? Because I've had a bit of reflux and it's kind of weird. I don't know what that's due to. Maybe maybe acidity.
I couldn't hear what you said. I'm getting static.
About reflux. Is anyone experiencing any slight reflux? Because I've been I don't know. I've just been experiencing a little bit, and I'm wondering what it's due to and why that's the case. I don't know if anyone can answer that question. I mean, it's all personal, but where could there be acidic food, or you have to go more alkaline? Obviously, because everything should be alkaline really anyway. Or
well, I'm not experiencing any acid reflux or anything like that. I would like to think that it's just a part of you expelling whatever it is that you need to go through personally. And I hate to keep bringing this up, but don't do any exercise. Don't do any strenuous exercise, because that could be that could be connected to that too. During this time, just I like what you did yesterday when you went to the beach and you was in the water, and like, that's what it is, right there. That's the
And
way this thing should play out. Don't do
yeah,
anything strenuous,
my,
at all.
uh,
So, no, I would like to think it's just a part of, your body just releasing,
mm,
whatever it is personally for you. I could probably eat a whole pizza pie to myself for a year and it wouldn't affect me, but it might affect the next guy, with some sort of an ailment. You know what I mean? I think everybody's just put together a little different and things manifest for everybody a little differently. But I think the whole acid reflux, reaction that you're having, I want to think that, that's just a part of what you got to go through. Some people go through headaches, lightheadedness, even like today, we're on day 5 of 5 because it's one day at a time. There's still some people that are probably going through something. They have cramping, they're feeling sharp pains in their right side, their back hurts, whatever. Everybody's just because all of us on the call are feeling great. I guarantee you, somebody out there joining us in this fast may not be in such a good place right now, and that's just they got to go through that, whatever that is. But if you stick with it, just stick with it. Stick with it, and get as much rest as you can. Keep your mind clear. Stay focused on just being easy. You're easy like Sunday morning. You stay with that, and don't let your surroundings get to you, and you'll be surprised how all that disappears. I had a severe rash when I started this fast. It wasn't one you could see, and I tend to get like what they call winter itch. Well, when the weather changes, I tend to get my skin just itches. I've always been like that pretty much ever since I can remember. Or when I became like a teenager. For some reason, when it gets cold or when the weather changes, my skin just itches. Like I can't wear pants numerous times. I can't, I just can't do those things. And even when I lay down, the first 10 minutes is like torture. Like I'm so itchy, I'm scratching myself. I'm taking Epsom salt baths and all these things, and I'm moisturizing like crazy. I'm taking 2 and 3 showers a day, and I'm moisturizing and moisturizing and moisturizing, and I'm hydrating, and it's not helping that much, But since I started the fast, I noticed that yesterday I didn't have it. I was looking to see. I was wondering, where is it? Where's the itch? Like I just knew when I laid down I was gonna have to find the right spot and move around, scratch, and just fall asleep eventually. And I didn't have that problem. That yesterday I was very comfortable in my skin. So we all have something, but there's something to this fasting. It really does work. It really helps with whatever you're dealing with. And I know I got off track, but, I think that's just what you have to go through. That's what you were asking. I think that's what you just have to go through. I would say, maybe another day or two, see what happens. And just be easy. Don't do anything strenuous. Just be easy. I'm muting myself.
I Google everything, and I just read you should Google it because there's stuff about people who have had acid reflux while they're fasting.
I am not experienced that now, Claire, but I have experienced it before. And, oof, I hate acid reflux. It's awful. But drink more water. Just keep drinking it. I think it's just part of like a digestion or lack thereof type of thing going on. I think that's good for today. We're almost close to 1 hour. Do you all feel filled with the love of this meeting?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always do. I mean, I feel like there's a fellowship that we all have, and we're all going through the same thing, which is why this is so important that we continue to do this. Without
Wonderful.
this, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, especially myself, would have probably dropped off, by now. And my birthday, so, without this group, I guarantee that I would not be fasting on Monday. I would be partying, I'd be drinking something, I'd be eating for sure, and I'd be out hanging out. And now I can hang out and not eat. And I'm fine because I got you guys. So,
Absolutely. Well, see y'all later at the next meeting. And have a great day, y'all.
all right, I may not be on that one because I have a class tonight, but I'll try to get in there if I can. I'm going to try.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys, thank you again. I'll see you later. Take care.
Okay, peace.
All right, guys.